Karen tried to make her son steal my donuts. This happened a few months ago. I already put it on Am I the Gay Hole, but I flat out forgot to post it here. My local supermarket has half off on baked goods like focaccia. Sorry if I spelt that wrong. They're trying to say focaccia, aren't they? Sorry, that's a really funny spelling of that. Focaccia, donuts, sausage rolls. You get the gist. Every evening at 8 p.m. sharp. I normally take advantage of this if I can't be bothered cooking or if I've been so busy that I didn't have time for it. Well, I went there today. It's first come, first takers. I'm starting to fill up some of the store supplied plastic bags with items. Today was pizza rolls, donuts, and muffins. When I got to the last donut of the day, and while I usually have my headphones on at a high volume, I decided to pull one of the sides slightly off so I can hear if somebody is passing behind me or waiting to get to the goods as well. A mum, probably in her 40s, and her son, probably 10 or a little bit older, comes up to my side where I'm still hearing music. I can see it because the glass door to the goods is reflective enough, and I see her point at the donuts in my basket, and her saying something to her son. The son then reaches down to my donuts and grabs the bag, and I turn around immediately and I yell, "Hands off my donuts!" Which unfortunately really scared the kid. Yeah, but I mean, you don't touch another person's donuts. He starts crying and his mum immediately starts yelling back as they normally do. Never surrender is Karen 101. We have a small back and forth while still being loud, which does attract some employees. They try and get the situation under control, and thankfully one of the employees recognized me as I shop there at least 3 or 4 times a week, and also knows that I mainly come for the baked goods sale. Even better is that they'd seen me taking the last donuts. As they explain this to the mum, who's now realizing what's going on, she immediately jumps ship and demands I apologize for startling her son, and that I could at least give him a donut for scaring him. Me, having lost all sense of patience, says, "I usually don't give stuff out to thieves, and today is not that day either. I'm ready to pay, by the way," and I went with the cashier to pay, and I could still hear the son crying and the mum getting angry. As I walked out, some people who'd been following the whole ordeal said the mum was right, and that I could at least have given the kid a donut. I feel sorry for the kid having such a mum. I'm not sure if stealing is the correct term, but it's definitely mine since it's in my shopping basket. Yeah, who reaches out to grab something out of somebody else's basket? That's absolutely wild, let alone a donut or donuts. Like, you ain't taking my sweet treats, kid. Get out of here. Come on, you can't have the donuts. And why should you give them a donut? Because they're upset because they did something wrong? Yeah, like this comment says. So what, they wanted you to reward the kid for trying to steal your donuts? Are these people okay? What, just because he's a kid and crying? How about telling the mother not to raise her child to become a thief? This is how you raise entitled kids? Yeah, definitely. I can't get over that. Reaching into somebody else's basket? Like, you don't do that normally, let alone if there's donuts. I love that OP said, "Hands off my donuts." Post number 2. Entitled dad wants kid to ride my dog. This happened several years ago, and it still makes me angry whenever I think about it. My dog was not feeling well, and we were sitting in the waiting room of the vet's office. A family sat down across from me, and the father saw my dog and told his daughter, who looked like she was about 2 years old, to quote-unquote go meet Lassie. Everything was okay until she decided to start climbing onto his back. I said, "No, he has arthritis and doesn't feel well. Please note." The girl's father jumped up and ran over and started screaming so close to my face that I could feel his spit. He said I had no business bringing a dog like that in here if it wasn't good with kids, and there was something wrong with me if I wouldn't let a Lassie dog play with kids. I told him that he has arthritis and is not feeling well, and I didn't want her trying to ride him. He verbally abused me, female baby boomer, some more, and told me to take the dog out of there, the vet's office, if it wasn't okay for his daughter to play with him. My dog was completely well behaved, he always is. I was trying to protect him. I looked over at the vet techs hoping they would step in, but they were on the phone. He said, "Here Lassie, here girl," and then picked up his daughter and held her over my dog to try to place her on my dog's back. Oh my god, dude. I grabbed my dog's leash and I pulled him out from under her just in time, and then the kid started to whine. I said, "He's a boy and he's here to see the vet. He's not a bloody horse, and he's not here for your kid to ride." This resulted in a lot more verbal abuse from him, and I kept wishing the vet techs would get off the phone and do something. He was still berating me when a vet tech called my name and led me and my dog into an exam room. My dog was treated for gastroenteritis and recovered fine. A little update, my dog is doing fine. His arthritis bothers him sometimes, but he is enjoying life. Fortunately, I never saw that entitled father again. I still get steamed whenever I remember him. Oh, OP, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. What the hell's wrong with people? That's actually revolting. Like, so unbelievably awful, and also awful parenting too. And the audacity for him to say that if your dog isn't able to play with his kid, that you should get out of there with your dog. Like, make that make sense, dude. Oh, some people are so awful. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's so unbelievable. Like, oh, what's that? You said no to my kid? How dare you? And yeah, him saying that if your dog isn't like child friendly, that it shouldn't be there. Nah, bro. How about don't try and put your bloody kid on somebody else's dog? What the hell are you talking about? And also, the dog isn't like hostile or something. Oh, that's infuriating. And yeah, super disappointing that the vet techs didn't do anything. I feel for you, OP. The next one one is called Karen Yells at Me in a Walmart over apple juice. That sounds a bit familiar, so I'm not sure if I've read this one. I don't think I have, but we read about Karens in Walmarts a lot. I've been wanting to share a Karen story for a while. This happened a few days ago and is possibly the stupidest story here. A few days ago, my mum had to go to Walmart to pick up a prescription and grab a few groceries. She hates Walmart, so we always try to hurry. While she waited in line for the prescription, my brother and I went to look for a few groceries that we need. We reach the grocery part of the store and we start shopping. When we finally go down to the drinks, we see that there are 2 gallons of apple juice left. I go to grab them when a woman comes up to me. She sees me take them, but I turn around and ask if she was also coming to get apple juice. She said yes, so I offer her one of them and we can take the other one. I don't know how or why she escalated this so fast, but she tells me to give her both because she wants them. I tell her again that I'll give her one of them, we will take the other. She is not happy with this and starts demanding that I give her both again. I tell her flat out no. My brother isn't saying anything because he doesn't like confrontation and just wanted to get the apple juice. I say, ma'am, do you want this one or not? Entitled Mum says, just give me both. How hard is that to understand? I want them both. Me, so no. Entitled Mum, yes, just give me them. As she starts to progress into a scene, my brother starts looking anxious, but he chimes in, look, we're trying to be nice. Entitled Mum, I don't care, just give them to me. You're wasting my time. I eventually get tired of this and out of spite, I put them both in our cart. Hell yeah, OP. I turn around and I motion for my brother to follow. She starts yelling, but we just head to the front. It was seriously the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, it sounds like it, OP. I'm so happy that you took both of them though. That's so funny and definitely the right move. Like, oh, you're being annoying and an a-hole for no reason. No apple juice for you. Yeah, the entitlement of some people is wild. Just give them both to me. You're wasting my time. Yeah, you did the right thing, OP. And also, good on you for even offering them one. Like, you could have easily took both of them and then walked away, and that still would have been fine. But you were polite enough to at least offer them one, and this is how they responded. Cringe behavior. The next one is called Karen demands my dog be put down because he looks scary. This happened in the late 90s when I was 9 years old. To give a bit of context so this makes sense, when I was younger, my mother rescued and rehomed animals as well as breeding for profit. We weren't like a puppy mill. Most were purebred cats, dogs, and horses, and they had homes lined up before conception. One of the dogs that we rescued when I was about 7 or 8 was a pregnant Great Dane cross bull mastiff who delivered about 5 puppies not long after we rescued her. What we didn't expect was parvo, a highly contagious virus that affects dogs and has a very high mortality rate. I can't remember if the mother had parvo or if the puppies caught it after they were born, but out of all of the puppies, only one survived, a boy that we named Tiger. Anybody familiar with the temperament of a Great Dane will understand what sort of a dog Tiger was. To call him a gentle giant is an understatement. He had the height of a Great Dane, standing at 28 inches tall, with the shoulders, girth, and weight of a bull mastiff, well over 100 pounds, and dark brown stripes all over him. To be honest, he looked terrifying, but he'd sooner lick you to death than he would growl or even bark at you. Not that I ever heard him bark or growl at anybody. I was 9 when we moved to the town that this took place in, a small town with a church on every corner and a population of 2,000 narrow-minded people. We were a family of 4, me, my younger sister, older brother, and our mother, with our entourage of animals, 8 dogs, 2 cats, 3 horses, and a few chickens, which soon grew into a small zoo, and a family of atheists moving to a very churchy town. Needless to say, we didn't fit in and we stood out like a sore thumb. Now that we have that out of the way, on with the story. A few days after moving there, I decided to take Tiger for a walk and have a look around the town. Tiger could be walked without a lead, but as this was a new environment for both of us, it was safer to put him on a lead. We lived just out of town along a highway, think Pet Cemetery and the cat, so it was about a 10-mile walk to town, and after a 5-minute walk up a hill, there's a turn off to a long stretch of road, and that road leads into town. I was halfway down the road when I heard somebody shout, "Hey you! What do you think you're doing with that dog?" There were only 4 or 5 houses along that road and no traffic, so there was nobody else this person could have been yelling at. I looked around and I saw a woman out the front of her house walking towards me. Let's call her Karen. This isn't word for word, but a summary of how our interaction went. Karen, are you deaf? I said, what do you think you're doing with that dog? Me, walking him? Karen, he's dangerous. You better keep that mud away from me and my family if you know what's good for you. I said okay, and I continued walking. She muttered something as I walked away, but I have no clue what it was. I didn't see her on my walk back home, but we crossed paths about a week later. Only this time she was in her car and Tiger wasn't on a lead. I took the same path as the week before, only this time closer to the town than our first encounter. I heard a car coming up behind me, so I went to the side and I told Tiger to follow. We were walking on the side of the road as Karen came up beside us, rolled down her window and said, "Put that dirty mutt on a lead right now or I'm calling the police." Me, he's fine to be off leash and he's not dangerous. I promise, he's very well behaved. In my state and the area this happened in, it is legal to have a dog off leash if the dog is well behaved and under control by the owner. Karen, he's not fine. He's scaring my kids. She was the only person in the car and I'd never even seen her kids. Wow, that's so funny. Probably doesn't even have kids. Me trying to calm her down and reassure her that he's a good dog. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but he's a good dog. Look, Tiger's sick. it. Good boy. Stay. I did this in front of her and I walked away while Tiger sat in the same spot until I called him to follow. But do you think this helped to settle the wild Karen? Of course not. Karen, you better get that dog put down before he kills someone. He's scaring my children. Oh, your kids aren't even in your car, lady. I'm sorry, but I have to go. I continued walking to town in the hope that Karen would leave me alone, but the lunatic followed along beside us for most of the way into the town until I was somehow able to lose her by turning into a small side street. I didn't have a mobile phone, so I stopped at a shop to use their phone to call my mum to come and get me. The only way home was the road that her house was on, and I certainly didn't want another encounter with her again. I wish I could say this was the only bad encounter I had with her and other entitled people in that town, but it's not. I have many more I'll post here if you're interested in reading. One involves a horse and a tractor. Thank you for reading. Okay, so I'm intrigued about that horse and tractor post. But yeah, how revolting. Like, oh, you should get that dog put down for, what, doing nothing? So gross that people act like this. Yeah, like this comment says, it sounds like Karen's children. Did she even have kids? Were her excuse for bad behavior on a regular basis? He's scaring my children when no children are inside, in the yard, nor in the car during either encounter with her. What a wacko. Yeah, and the comment under that, Rob's bank and police show up. You're scaring my kids. Understandable. Have a great day. The next one is called Dad expects me to text him, call him, and update him daily. I feel like I'm going crazy. Hi everybody, I 25 female have read through a ton of similar posts on here, but I did want to write my own as I feel like I'm going crazy and I need some external opinions. My parents divorced when I was 2. My dad's always done his best to be in my life. My older brother and I used to love spending the day with him every Saturday. At some point when I was around 12 years old, my older brother stopped coming. My mum and dad had some bad custody and child support fights early on, and my older brother sided with my mum. I tried to stay neutral to avoid hurting anybody. From there until college, I'd visit my dad alone. He wasn't too pushy about texting and calling, but he would always cross into overprotective. He would text me almost daily to check in, and on a few instances I forgot to answer, out at a friend's or fell asleep early or was sick. He'd text my mum and demand to know that I was okay. A few times my mum was asleep as well and didn't answer, and he called the police to my mum's house in the middle of the night. Our relationship started to get really bad right before college, and we were fighting all the time, but he always attributed it to being a hormonal teenager. I think it was because I was struggling for more independence. My first year of college, he lost his high-paying job and all of his income. He had to move in with his mum, my grandma, to a different state, where they still live together now. She's immunocompromised and he takes care of her, so they both have essentially not left the house since COVID. He's set on looking for virtual work and has been doing nothing but studying daily, sleeping weird hours and applying for jobs the last 5 years. Not even exaggerating, they don't do much else. I haven't seen either of them in 5 years, and he says he isn't ready for me to visit because he's ashamed of the situation. Our current schedule is as follows. We speak 2 times a week on a set day and time for 1 hour each. Both of these calls end up going way over an hour, and he guilts me when I try to wrap things up even though I have things to do around the house, or fitness classes, or dinner to make. During this call, I'm not allowed to walk or clean or cook or be outside or do anything besides sit and listen. If he hears any noise in the background, he gets angry. When I try to push back on this, he says that I probably waste time on 100 other things, and I can set aside 2 hours or more a week to speak. We don't have much to talk about, as I don't like to tell him about my life. He likes to debate or turn everything I mention to him into a negative or life lesson. I have been in an amazing relationship for almost a year that I haven't even had the energy to tell him about, because I know he's going to find a million things wrong with it. Example, he's a different religion, which apparently is the worst thing in the world, even though I'm not religious and neither are my boyfriend or dad. We talk about my job occasionally, but I'm not interested in climbing the corporate ladder or learning the games that he wants me to play. He doesn't have anything happening in his life either, as all he does is study for open roles he finds. He usually spends our phone call talking about the mistakes he's made in life and about how I should avoid them, or current events and politics and things going on in the career world. I'm not really interested in the things that he talks about, and I don't want to follow in his footsteps, so I mainly just stare at the wall and listen for 1.5 hours and try to sound interested. In addition to these calls, he also wants me to text him within 15 minutes of arriving to work, 2 days a week different from the above days, and text him when I'm home from work before 6 p.m. If I'm running late, I have to call him and let him know. What? For reference, my commute is a safe and easy 20-minute ride. I also have to answer his daily nighttime check-in text, asking me how things are going, if I have any questions, if I'm home, etc. within 30 minutes. I'm not on my phone often, and I have missed responding on time to a few of them, which led to some really bad fights. We eventually settled on me texting him myself every night, once I was home and not planning to leave. Lastly, he wants to let me know if I go out on weekends, and text him when I'm home, which I think is fair. One important thing to note is that when I first moved into my own place a couple of years ago to be near work, he had very strict rules about where I had to live, dormant building with cameras and safe part of the city. All reasonable, but expensive. I was doing well for myself, but I couldn't afford those amenity buildings on my own. Think New York City, where you can find affordable apartments in okay areas on a decent entry-level salary, but not the amenity buildings in very nice areas. My dad agreed to cover the rest and did so for about 1.5 years. A few months ago, right after I re-sign for another year. He told me he ran out of money. I've been putting all the extra money on my credit card, which he promises to pay back once he gets a job. I don't know when that'll be, and of course will not be re-signing unless things turn around, but I am kinda stuck in this situation. I wish I could say this was the only reason I wanted to keep the relationship with him. Money is not worth a bad mental state. I can't say that it doesn't make me anxious, but I could end our relationship and walk away with a few thousand in debt. The truth is that I feel bad for him, and he makes me feel guilty if I don't put him first. My parents are European, and he says it's a very American mentality to not put your family first, that I should want to call him often, and I should feel bad if I know he's worrying about me, that if I can text to let him know that I'm okay, that I should. I've tried to ask that we cut back on communication and how much he relies on my responses, but he calls me selfish. For reference, I have an excellent relationship with my mum and her side of the family. I call her to chat almost daily, and we talk about all the things in her life and in mine. She knows and has met my boyfriend, and she has my location, so she always knows when I'm safe. She doesn't force anything onto me and doesn't turn everything negative or into a lesson, so I love telling her about my life and keeping her updated. When I try to explain this to my dad, he basically insinuates that if my mum isn't checking on me regularly, she doesn't care. Even as I'm typing this, I can see that it's not healthy. Or is it? I don't know. I feel like I can't get an objective grasp on this. It's not healthy, OP. He says he's much better than most dads. Is this true? Is this a cultural thing? I just don't know what to do. I don't want to cut him off or end the relationship because he doesn't have anything else. No other close friends or family besides his mum. I love him a lot. The financial tie doesn't help. It's easy to suggest setting a hard boundary, but he always follows with, so you're okay with knowing that I'm stressed out and there's something you can do to fix it, but you won't? Do I just say yes? What, so he guilt trips you every single time? That's so bad, OP. I feel like I can't do this forever. I hate being attached to my phone and constantly anxious. I'm reaching my breaking point. I really don't know what to do. Does anybody have a couple of words of advice or confirmation either in support of my side or my dad's side? Thank you in advance and sorry for the length. Yeah, the top comment. As a European, no, it's not a European thing and he's worse than most dads. He's a selfish bully and a terrible person, or at least somebody who needs professional help. I don't know what you can do because he doesn't sound like he'll ever respect any boundaries. Yeah, bully sounds about right. And guilt tripping OP and making them feel like crap. And yeah, they're so anxious about nothing and it's making OP anxious. Oh, that sounds awful. But I mean, you can only try so much with somebody like this. And if he's not willing to compromise and not willing to respect your boundaries, well, yeah, you need to stop talking to him, OP. Yeah, this comment, just stop. Your story is stressing me out. Change your number. Alert your mum about it. Make sure your mum and brother read this. Live your life in peace. Your father has issues that you can't resolve. Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that's enough for today. That was another absolute adventure of an episode, but we need something wholesome. I'm sad. Try adding for now. I'm sad for now. Aw, that's so beautiful. Is that a kitten in a raincoat? That's so cute. And after saying the words kitten in a raincoat, I'm realizing I've read this one before. I don't say kitten in a raincoat very often. When the same few people react to your post, I see what's going on here. We're becoming homies. Yeah, that's so true. Hey, wait a second. I recognize your username. Welcome back, friend. I see how hard you've been working. Here's a complimentary dino for all you do. Aw, thank you so much. That's really appreciated. I can lift anything, for I am strong. Can you lift me up? You're brilliant and beautiful. Often the only person who can't see that is yourself. Aw, that's so cute. That one's by Catalyst Comics, and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day goes to Tiger Heart from our latest Choosing Beggars episode. It absolutely baffles me that none of these people seem to realize that the last babysitter quit unexpectedly without any notice is a huge red flag for other babysitters. Yeah, oh my god, some of those babysitter posts were so wild. Like, hey, we made every other babysitter quit, and we're also going to pay you like $4 an hour. Are you interested? No, not even a little bit. The Choosing Beggars episodes are always so fun. Okay, I'm out of it. Thank you for all the support, guys. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!